CEO and co-founder of IMSICA, who recently wrote an article titled The Modern Education System, and in that article, we spoke about how one is no longer limited to the idea of sitting in a classroom at specific times for them to learn anything. Despite the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic being terrible and devastating, it made room for a lot of innovation across the world. One of them for us at IMSICA is how we deliver information to farmers. You see, prior to the pandemic, we followed farmers to their residential areas to educate them on how to farm as a business, sometimes even having classes in the heat of the sun. Now, we get to reach a much wider audience who are young, old, experienced, and even aspiring farmers in the comfort of their homes or wherever they may choose to take their lessons from. Anyone is at liberty to attend any class at any time and study at their own pace using our recently launched platform, apunzile.com. In full words, Mlimi Apunzile. On this platform, we get to work with professionals from different fields, agrochemicals, livestock, plant diseases, and so on. If you would love to be part of this global community like I do, you can access our e-learning platform by simply going to www.apunzile.com and pick from a wide range of programs that we have made available for you. We look forward to seeing you there. Please remember, no farmer, no food. Thank you. Hi.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful training. I would just like to apologize for starting late. We just had some technical issues, but it's been sorted. We would want you to also just share this great training with others. If you don't mind, please just share this training. We're also live on YouTube. Share the link to the YouTube channel that's streaming for other people that would want to join us in this wonderful training. Also, please do check out our Facebook page, which is IMSICA Services Limited, and Mlimi Apunzile for more just like that, those pages. Check them out, share them. Also, do check out our e-learning platform where this training and more trainings will be there. Also, please do check out our e-commerce platform where you can order products like maize, soya, incubators, and so on. Please do stick around, keep the chat section interactive, drop your questions. At the end of the video, we'll attend to them. I'll be your host for today. My name is Emmanuel Cornelio Piri. And our trainer for today is Mr. Luo Siwale. Please, Mr. Luo, you pick it up from here.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, farmers. So, welcome to today's training. So today, my name is Luo Siwale. I'm an agronomist at ETG. So basically, I look at IPM, which is integrated pest management, and feeding, and that's the general techniques involved in farming. Yeah, so today we're going to look at very well-known crop, which is maize. And I know there are a lot of questions surrounding this: when to plant, how to do that. If there's no rain, what do we do? So together, right now, we're going to get an insight of how we're going to approach this season. So ETG is a group of companies comprised of different sub companies. ETG just simply means export trading group. So we've got different brands, and the common brands which you see as farmers is a Zambian fertilizer brand, a Falcon brand, Kainok, there's Famarama, and so on. There's also a section where we sell and manufacture feed. It's called Vamara. There's also processing, for jam and these other products. There's also, we also have an entity where we buy a commodity from farmers, that's field crops, things like groundnut, maize, soybeans, peas, and all those things. We also have where we manufacture a milling meal. So it's a one-stop solution for farmers. So today we're going to look at the maize production. So we know how to grow maize, and we've been doing this for the past, I would say, some of you 10 years, 15 years, but most of the time from a hectare you're getting 20, 30 bags. You're lucky 40 or 50. So why do we get these low yields when you putting in all that is needed when it comes to inputs? What are the challenges? So today we're going to tackle this under a short period of time. And at the end, Musika will give you a phone number which you can call if you want to reach us. And we can, if you're shy to ask questions, you can still have a one-on-one chat with us. So we are free for farmers. That's why we're having this program at this time on it's a Friday. So maize production, go straight into the mix. So what are some of the factors to consider when doing maize production or any other crop? So there are a lot of factors to consider, but the main ones are these highlighted in blue. So exposure to sunlight is very important. As you may know, crops need the sun to trigger the production of food within the plant. And we should avoid, by all means, to plant where we've got a lot of shade. And if our plants are not exposed to this light, we'll have problems in terms of the appearance and as well as the yield. The other thing to consider is drainage and good air circulation in the soil. So you have to know your soil, what type of soil you're dealing with. Is it a sand soil? Is it a clay soil? The sticky soil? You have to know all those characteristics. Once that is known, you are able to put in what's necessary so that as you're going in the production process, you're able to achieve the intended yield. Yeah, so we're going to look at also there's some circumstances which can lead to a bad soil and how you can manage that bad soil. So the soil should be loose and rich soil. So sometimes the soil cannot be loose and rich, but as a farmer, you have to put in and you have to condition this soil to be favorable. So that's why we have in other countries, people are able to farm in deserts because they are able to work on their soils. The other point is convenient access to tools. So if you're if you're living in Lusaka and your farm is in Chivombo, make sure the necessary tools are near the farm. A case where you have an attack of pests or diseases, you must address it as soon as possible so that it cannot spread. And also you have to do a lot of preventive measures to avoid or to mitigate these problems which can affect your yield. And the most important one is the use of certified seed in maize. I've seen people they recycle seed like for certain legumes like groundnut and soya and so forth. But for maize, this is very critical. As you may know, these seeds must be processed. These seeds must be processed, must be stored properly and handled properly. A recycled seed people don't pay attention to how it was kept. So it's important as a farmer to avoid the shortcuts, such as using this recycled seed. As you may know, a seed has its own genetic potential. So, for example, I say seed X can produce 10 tons, and for 10 tons to be produced, you need nitrogen of this kg, phosphorus this kg, and all those. When you apply this at the minimum or rainfall, what it needs is this. It's good for this region. When you understand that the seed, you apply those things, you're able to achieve that yield. And like a recycled seed where it's just more like guesswork. So the next slide, we all know that maize is a field crop. We can do maize all year round, and we can do maize and produce a commodity. You can do and sell as fresh maize, which is very profitable. Those farmers who are doing maize as fresh maize are making a lot of money. So deep or drained fertile soil with pH ranges of 5.5 to 7.5 is ideal. So the best way to know the pH is testing a soil. As a farmer, testing soils is cheap. It's about 250 kwacha. I always emphasize this. If you are a farmer, and you are trying to go into farming as a business, you have to invest in things like soil testing. You take your soil to the lab, they analyze it. That's when you can know that I need to approach my soil in this line. I need to apply this. I shouldn't put this. Sometimes you may find that it's even cheaper. You find that there's a lot of phosphorus in the soil. Once you add what's needed, maybe lime or gypsum, you're able to activate that phosphorus, and the amount of base soil you're going to add is even less. So all of the recommendations come from after getting the analysis results. So you may try to save the 200 or 300 kwacha today. By that 200, 300 kwacha today will turn into 3,000 or 5,000 tomorrow, loss to your business. So smart way of doing things is very important. So we're going to look at what to do when the soil is got a low pH, it's got a high pH, and how to maintain this pH. We're going to look at that. So the next point is soil conditioning can be done according to the pH result. So now we address the pH scale here. So high hydrogen ions. So pH just simply means the potential hydrogen ions in the soil. They are very high. The pH scale will have from 7.5 going up to somewhere 14. It's an alkaline space. And from 5.5, within 5.5, coming down up to 1, this is the acidic range. So how do you address an alkaline soil, and how do you address the acidic soil? So based on the results, you'll be recommended what to add. But all in a nutshell, I would say for alkaline soil, you acidify them by simply adding elements like this fourth point, which is sulfur. So sulfur, you can find it from ammonium sulfate. Sulfur itself, you can find sulfur from different straight fertilizers. You can also acidify your soil by adding organic matter. So as you may know, organic matter has got bacteria and other microbes in that organic matter. So as they are, when you put this organic matter in the soil, as they are degrading and working on the organic matter, so just be worked on in the soil to decompose. As they are decomposing, they have, that was the respiration takes place. So the respiration is taking place. They will release carbon element because they are breathing in and out. So when they breathe out, they release carbon. This carbon will mix with moisture there to make a weak carbonic acid. So this is what happens. Sometimes you can also add a weak acid, but it's not advised. But these are the ways of acidifying your soil. So once the soil is, the alkaline is high, you acidify them, add a little bit of acid-based thing to push the pH downwards. So the next point is liming and organic matter addition should be added prior to planting. That is 4 weeks before planting. This can be even more because a normal lime, normal agricultural lime, the one you are used to see, is a calcitic or dolomitic lime, takes time to decompose in the soil. Some can even take 6 months, a year, 3 months, depending on the condition in that environment. One, there's supposed to be heat as a catalyst to start that process. Next, there's supposed to be some form of precipitation. There is also an aspect of wind. So all those reactions until you release calcium from the lime. Then this calcium is the one which starts reducing these ions, or the structure. Start pushing the pH upwards to take it to the neutral. So most recommended in spaces are 5.5 to 7.5. I'll show you how nutrients, the behavior of nutrients on the pH scale. So the other last important point here is how do you prepare land? As you may, we're facing a climate change. We're going to have periods of prolonged drought or dry spells. We can have too much rain in some areas. There's too much heat. Sometimes it's too cold when it's not supposed to be like that. So how do we address it as farmers? We can't stop farming. Farming should be our passion, should be our business, and we need to feed ourselves and we need to make money. So we've all heard about conservation farming, which is minimum tillage. Here we just disturb where you're going to plant a crop. Those things we call ridges, mamputaj, those are old-fashioned. You only do that in a very high rainfall area so that the water can run off and cannot get stuck in your field. Now, nowadays, we're not certain about how much rains we're going to have. So the best way is to do a preventive measure and to carefully prepare our land by only disturbing where we're going to plant. So what happens when you disturb only where you're going to plant? One, you're going to, when you plant that seed, a case where you have got rains today and maybe 4 days and late 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you don't have rains. There is a soil pan between one planting station to the next. There will be this soil pan. This soil pan, if there is heat hitting this soil pan, the amount of evaporation which will happen there will be less as compared to where you disturbed everywhere. For that, over time, there's that, not a soil pan, but there's that layer, protective layer, where there can't be erosion, and when the water enters, it can't easily go out. So it's more like the way windows are, the house is made, and there are windows around, and the door. When someone wants to come out, they can only come out from the door or from the window. This wall, no one can come out of here. That's how even the water behaves in the soil. So hence the encouragement of minimum tillage, which is conservation farming. If you've got even these old grasses, you even throw them as a bit of mulch and leave them, they'll help. And the next slide, we will move on to the next slide. So I talked about pH. So this is how the pH scale looks like. At the bottom, we've got numbers, and on top, we've got the acidity levels in the soil. So now, let's take, for instance, nitrogen. If you go here on top of nitrogen, there is this thing which looks like a black thing, which looks like a snake. It is slim in the end point, and then it gets bigger on the middle. So as it gets bigger on the middle, you have all seen where it's getting bigger. Somewhere 8.5 and up to 5.5. It's thick. So in the soil, when the pH is in this range, you have that amount of nitrogen. That size, not amount, that size of nitrogen, it can be there when the pH is in that scale. Same goes for phosphorus up to magnesium. So these are, I would say, these are major elements or macro elements in the soil, big ones, which are very critical. These, so they are from 7.5 to somewhere 6.5. These are here. So once you have a soil pH in this range, then at least you are safe. Then we move to the other side where I've got iron, manganese, boron, copper, zinc. There's molybdenum here and all that. Molybdenum, sorry, on the but these are trace elements. So, and as we put it, the pH was supposed to be 5.5 to 7. So at this pH where it's 5.5 up to 7 or 7.5, you can have both macro and micro elements in the soil. Let's hope it's clear on this pH. So this is the range. You've got major elements. Those elements are needed by planting big portions, and the smaller elements, which is a micro elements, needed by planting small elements, small parts, portions. So in a pH range scale of 5.5 to about 7 to 7.5, here you have these two. So the intersection here, it can be even from 5.5 up to 7. This way you can be able to get your results. Okay, clear. When you're not clear, we can post the question in the chat. We'll come back to it. So now, I talked about alkaline and acidic. Where the numbers are small, it's acidic side. Where the numbers are high, it's alkaline side. So reducing the pH, you come from the bigger numbers coming on the middle. Increasing the pH, you come from the smaller number coming on the middle. Then, okay, we'll move on to the next slide. So this is all about the pH. This is very important in production. So planting and sowing depth, planting direct 5 centimeters deep, about 8 centimeters between plants, and also 90 centimeters between rows is ideal. The other point is to give a plant, the population for maize is in a limit about 10,000 to 11,000, sometimes 12,000. But different varieties come with different population, but this is the standard one for normal maize crop. The total population size is 37,000 or 35,000 to 45,000 or 44,000. This is the plant population. To increase too much, those who plant 60,000 plants per hectare, most of these commercial guys were just trying to farm silage, to do maize for silage. And it doesn't even make a lot of cobs. Before it just makes cobs, they harvest it and process it for silage. So if you want to produce maize as a commodity and for resale, this is a recommended population. Under this population, there is less competition of things. like water, fertilizer, sunlight, and space. So usually what happens is that the plant will have enough of all these inputs as it grows, and it will give you a good yield. Scientifically, they say once in the field, when all the maize receive, each and every maize, 45,000 plants receive the same amount of water, the same amount of fertilizer, and the same amount of sunlight. It can even give you even 5 cobs or 7 cobs on one plant, but that's difficult to achieve. But that's why you see most of the time when you're planting a maize, you have more maize cobs, or even the size of the cob is bigger because of exposure to what I've explained: water, fertilizer, and the most important, sunlight. So sowing date, depending on the region and depending on the variety. So I've got, as you may know, they've got early maturing variety, medium maturing variety, and late maturing variety. So most late maturing variety, this time they have to be in the field because they take more days to mature. Then we've got a medium, which you can plant in late November and December. Then we've got also the early maturing, which you can plant in late December, even early January. You're able to get some cobs. And the yield, I won't talk much about seeds because I'm not very much expert about that. My colleague not around to address, but next time we'll try. So yield between these varieties, medium, early, and late, it's different. Usually late maturing varieties, they have got a very high yield because they stay longer in the field, and also they are genetically modified to stay longer and to produce high yield. And usually most late maturing, they are the least when you compare the three. So I talked about planting dates depending on the field, and depending not the field, but depends with the variety. So as farmers, right now we're experiencing this type of problem of rainfall. So we should be strategic in terms of which variety we're going to plant and when we're going to plant. Yeah, we will have variation of rain, too much rainfall, less what. But once we try to employ these strategies such as conservation farming, timely application of fertilizer, weeding, all those things, pest control, on time prevention of this and that, will salvage enough for business. So this is how you apply fertilizers. So at the bottom, there's basic dressing fertilizer. So at ETG, we are trying to promote this product called blended D compound. Ordinarily, we have D compound, which is one color. It's a bit gray, some it's a bit white. So that is a pure synthetic, it's a pure chemical, which I've been using in the past. And as we farm in our areas, we need to pay attention to the soils we are using. We need to make them properly, and we need to nurture them like they are humans as well. We shouldn't intoxicate these soils with these too much synthetic things. We need to provide the balance in the soil. So this blended product, there is no compromise in terms of the nutritional values. So nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and sulfur is 10, 20, 10, and 6 sulfur. Same with the the synthetic one, same NPK, same number of nitrogen percentage, same phosphorus percentage, same potassium percentage, and same sulfur percentage. But the difference comes with the filler in these two. So one, the synthetic one, the filler, they can even use any clay soil, any innate material which does not add any value to the soil, just to keep the element, the nutrients, just to hold the nutrients. So now here at Zambian Fertilizers, what we're trying to do, we are in this blended product, we have the same composition as the synthetic, so that the plant gets what it needs. Then we're adding organic matter, processed organic matter, so that to improve the microbial activities. Once the microbial activities increase in your soil, there will be proper breakdown of elements in the soil, so that the plant can absorb. So once this is done, there's this I've talked about organic matter, and there's also an aspect of lime. So lime strikes a balance, especially for acidic soils. And for soils which are to maintain the pH, we need to be adding these stabilizers in the soil time. So the blended product just 1 minute. Yeah, okay. So a blended D compound is composed of organic matter, lime, and the NPK. So I've got a product which has got a lot of solutions as a farmer. Please try out this product. It will do wonders to you. Don't just look at the period where you just this period, but in the long run, you'll benefit more from these products which are added in the product, in the fertilizer bag. Secondly, the top dressing fertilizer. As you may have seen or noticed, there's a product going around called blue urea. Some time back, there was a time they used to sell on the market as black urea. So on the market, it used to be black urea. Some time back, they disappeared. Now it's back. But this time around, the coating is coated with agroten. So what agroten does is agroten inhibits the release of nitrogen. What do I mean by inhibiting? The way it's hot like this, we have a situation where there is volatilization in the soil. Once you add the urea, even now, get urea, put it on the outside when it's hot, when it's not raining, then go there after some time, that urea will be gone. Or you just get the urea on itself, put it in a bottle, close, or open after 1 hour. You will smell that smell, which is ammonia gas. So most of the time, what we should know that when you add urea, it's 46% in the soil. And by the time it's being broken down for a plant to use, it comes down even to 20%. That's why most of the time you notice that, but I added urea, but why isn't it performing? It's because of nitrogen loss due to what we call volatilization, which is more like evaporation of that the nitrogen, or the leaching. It leaches down the soil beyond the plant roots. So this kind of plus urea stops those that problem. It mitigates. So what it will do, it will inhibit the nitrogen loss in the air, and also work on the leaching, kind of. So when a farmer adds this, because per hectare you need about 180 kgs of nitrogen, 180 kgs of urea, which is almost 200 kgs per hectare, to achieve, example, 4 tons per hectare, which is 80 bags. So you're able to, it's more like an insurance that, okay, this urea, once I add, it won't go up, it won't volatilize, it won't disappear. My plant will get enough nitrogen. So this is all about Kynoplus. In case you want to know more about Kynoplus, you can still call us, we'll still explain. But to time, let's move. The next product is a Million, which is also the dressing. So Million you can add twice, but as a small scale farmer, once is enough, because the ability of a plant to, makes it difficult for you to apply in the second stage. So this Million, I have heard of a maize booster, soya booster, maybe tomatoes. There's this booster for flowers, this booster for vegetative. Even maize for this booster called Million. So a stressed plant, stressed out of water, stressed out of maybe nutrients, there's waterlogging. If it's not eating from the ground, or if it doesn't eat enough from the ground, you can supplement. This is just a supplement. You can supplement the crop with this OMF. It's called mini OMF. The maize booster. You spray it at 6 weeks, almost at the time when you apply urea. Because urea don't surpass 40-45 days. Urea has to be applied to a plant. Even this, before even it overgrows, a maize plant requires nutrients as it is young, so that when it even reaches your waist, when that stalk is strong, it doesn't even assimilate these nutrients. The time of application will pass. Whatever you're going to be applying to have little effect on the plant. So maize has to be taken care of when it's young. When it's old, it's able to do its own thing to grow. So these are 3 important fertilizers. 1, basal dressing, try a blended product, adding organic in your soil, and adding lime. 2, Kynoplus, you're saving your nitrogen losses. You're ensuring your crop of nitrogen, enough nitrogen for it. 3, maize OMF, a maize booster. You are feeding your crop even in the leaves, you're boosting it so that it grows faster, especially now that there's this climate change. Let's try by all means to push these crops to look good and to have that green, so that they can manufacture their own food in a period when they are almost getting stressed due to lack of different things. So next slide. As ETG, we are selling this maize. We've got medium and early maturing. The medium maturing is called M601. It has received a lot of good response. Farmers across the country in Chipata, Lusaka, parts of Copper Belt. Can be for region 1 and 2. High rainfall areas and medium or average rainfall areas. Then we also have another variety, which is MC401, it's early maturing variety. So this is how a blended product looks like. This is the bag. As you can see, the NPK is still the same, 10 to 20, 10 nitrogen, 20 phosphorus, and 10 potassium, and also 6% sulfur. So there is also a percentage of organic matter and lime in this product. This is how Kynoplus looks like. So when you open the bag, it looks blue inside. So the blue you're going to see, this is just normal urea, but you coat it with a product called agroten, which inhibits the release of nitrogen to the plant. So this prevents the loss of nitrogen in the air, and also avoid volatilization. Yes, so this is Kynoplus, very good product, but it's got a much there's a price difference between the normal and a Kynoplus. Kynoplus is slightly more expensive than the normal urea, but when you do your calculations about the losses of nitrogen, you save more money by buying Kynoplus than normal urea. And Kynoplus, there's no need of split application. You just apply once and forget. Urea, there is that splitting of urea. No, you apply this, maybe you apply 2 bags, this for 1 hectare. Then again, we apply again. Sometimes it will even be short for you buy some more urea, you apply. So all that is labor intensive. But this one, you go in once, and you're able to get the results. So this is the packaging for maize OMF. This is how it looks like. So per hectare for this one, you just need 4 kgs. As for blended D compound, we need 200 kgs. Kynoplus, you need 200 kgs. But for the booster, you just need 3 to 4 kgs. That's all. And then we've got another product called micronized lime. I talked about lime taking about 5 months, 6 months, 2 months to be active in the soil, to be utilized in the soil. But micronized lime takes few days, even a week. It is able to release the nutrients to the plant. So what usually happens when the pH is compromised, which is one of the important point I forgot to inform you. When the pH is not good, what happens in the soil? The plant will be there, the nutrients will be there. When the pH is not favorable, these nutrients in the soil cannot be tapped by a plant. They become locked up. So for you to unlock up to release those nutrients, you need to add, depending on the situation, either you need to add lime, gypsum, or you need to do what. But the shortest and fastest way of controlling the pH is the use of micronized lime. Yes, micronized lime, it's a lime which is you spray in the soil, mix with water, and you spray in the soil, and it's able to release the nutrients within a short period of time, and also to start working on the pH scale. So the other point is that liming, so you have to know that when you get the results today for your soil, you can use those basis for that soil for the next 3 years. It takes time for pH to move from one point to the next. You need a lot of every year doing something. That's why when you're going through these commercial farms, they're always doing liming, they're always doing what? They understand these things. This is what we're lacking as small-scale farmers to reach that level. This information, let's try by all means to utilize it and try to employ it at our farms. We'll see we'll see good results. So the other point about lime is that the ordinary lime, you need about 1 ton, 20 bags to add in the soil. 20 tons, 20 bags, sorry, and 20 bags with 1 ton. Whereas for micronized lime, you just need 5 kgs. You mix it with water and spray it on the soil. So, admin, my presentation ends here. I'll invite some questions.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful training. I personally enjoyed. Thank you even for the recommendations of the product. Please don't forget these products are available on imsika.com. You can buy all these products via the IMSIKA website. That's emsika.com, or you can just go on Google and just search for ETG, and it will bring IMSIKA there, where you can buy all these products. DG is one of the suppliers on our website. Please do check it out. So we have a question from Mr. Jackson. He's asking, how much is the foiler per kg? How much is the Kynoplus?
Okay, so you asked about the foliar as well as the kind of plus. Okay, let me just
Yes.
check. Okay, just a minute.
Please, if you want to ask questions, just drop them down in the comment sections. We'll surely attend to them.
So prices vary according to locations. You have the price list. Is it possible you can also share the prices with farmers? According to website, there's a price
Okay.
there.
Okay,
So, but for
we'll
a foliar,
definitely do that.
yeah, for a foliar,
We'll
I can
share the
remember. I
prices.
don't have a price. I don't have a price now. But for a foliar, per hectare you spend about 150 somewhere there, because you need 4 kgs per hectare, and a 2 kg is 78 quarter. So you spend about 146 somewhere there per hectare, one application. And kind of plus comes to around 933. That's Lusaka price.
Thank you very much, sir. We also have another one. What is the ratio on the usage between the original urea and the Kynoplus? Ratio on the bag usage per hectare. I think he's asking the original urea and the Kynoplus urea.
Okay. There is the percentage of nitrogen as it is in the bag, sitting in a bag is 46%. Application rate of Kynoplus and the normal urea, it's the same 200 kgs, 4 bags per hectare. But what I explained was for Kynoplus, when I apply that Kynoplus in the soil and I apply urea in the soil, yes, I can apply 5 grams here and 5 grams here. But the environmental conditions will make that normal urea disappear and unavailable for your plant. Whereas the Kynoplus acts as insurance to make sure that that urea, enough nitrogen is absorbed by your plant, because it will limit that volatilization. An example, let me say, maybe the nutrients moving from the granule itself going into the atmosphere. That doesn't happen with the Kynoplus, because there's a coating which locks that nitrogen, and all the nitrates, enough nitrates go to the plant. So there's no difference. It's 4 bags per hectare for each. Yeah. So yeah, did I answer the question?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that's the last question. We don't have any other question. Please don't feel shy. Please drop your questions. If you missed this training, if you didn't start it from the beginning, this training is being live streamed live on YouTube, so you can just go back and watch the video. While you have questions, while you're watching the video, you can drop the questions in the comment sections, and we'll attend to them even though the training has been completed. Please also do share the video when you watch it, like our YouTube page, that's IMSICA Services. Lou, you had something to say?
Yeah, sometimes not even questions. We also want to learn from farmers, your experience with your farmer experience, so that we can also understand, know things from farmers. It's not a one-way thing. We are teaching each other here. Yes. So I also want to hear from farmers. Madam yes. Rose Mwanza, say something.
Yes. So please do reach out if you have any experience with the products, please do share with us your experience so that we can even improve on them. If there are no more.
Mr. Charles, any questions? Mr. Fabrice.
Looks like people don't
You're
ask.
too
All
quiet.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us, everyone, for this wonderful training. Thank you for giving us this opportunity, Mr. Luo, to even learn. Thank you for sharing this wonderful information. We hope that we'll have you next time on a Soya. And also, please do check out our Facebook page, that's IMSICA Services Limited, where you can find all sorts of things. Also, Mulimi Apunzile, our e-learning platform, that's apunzile.com, where you find this training and more trainings by ETG and other trainers. Please do stick around. On Sunday, we do have another training with Mr. Zunga. You wouldn't want to miss that one. Mr. Luo, do you have any final words?
Not really, but what I would like to do is just also encouragement to farmer but by all means, if you learn something as a farmer, please pass it on to another farmer. We develop in groups, not in isolation. So any information you have, share it, and so that in the next 5-10 years, from the level where we are able to move to another level. Yeah, so see you in the next program of soybean production.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. So yeah, you've heard it. We'll have another one on the soybeans. Please do stick around, and we'll let you know when we'll have this one. Please don't forget, no farmer, no food. Good night and God bless. Enjoy your weekend.
Good night. Good night.
Hi, thank you for joining us. My name is Gilbert and I'm the CEO and co-founder of IMSICA. We recently wrote an article titled The Modern Education System, and in that article, we spoke about how one is no longer limited to the idea of sitting in a classroom at specific times for them to learn anything. Despite the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic being terrible and devastating, it made room for a lot of innovation across the world. One of them for us at IMSICA is how we deliver information to farmers. You see, prior to the pandemic, we followed farmers to their residential areas to educate them on how to farm as a business. Sometimes even having classes in the heat of the sun. Now, we get to reach a much wider audience who are young, old, experienced, and even aspiring farmers in the comfort of their homes or wherever they may choose to take their lessons from. Anyone is at liberty to attend any class at any time and study at their own pace using our recently launched platform, apunzile.com. In full words, Mulimi Apunzile. On this platform, we get to work with professionals from different fields, agrochemicals, livestock, plant diseases, and so on. If you would love to be part of this global community like I do, you can access our e-learning platform by simply going to www.apunzile.com and pick from a wide range of programs that we have made available for you. We look forward to seeing you there. And please remember, no farmer, no food. Thank you. Hi, thank you for joining us. My name is Gilbert and I'm the CEO and co-founder of IMSICA. We recently wrote an article titled The Modern Education System, and in that article, we spoke about how one is no longer limited to the idea of sitting in a classroom at specific times for them to learn anything. Despite the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic being terrible and devastating, it made room for a lot of innovation across the world. One of them for us at IMSICA is how we deliver information to farmers. You see, prior to the pandemic, we followed farmers to their residential areas to educate them on how to farm as a business, sometimes even having classes in the heat of the sun. Now, we get to reach a much wider audience who are young, old, experienced, and even aspiring farmers in the comfort of their homes or wherever they may choose to take their lessons from. Anyone is at liberty to attend any class at any time and study at their own pace using our recently launched platform, apunzile.com. In full words, Mlimi Apunzile. On this platform, we get to work with professionals from different fields, agrochemicals, livestock, plant diseases, and so on. If you would love to be part of this global community like I do, you can access our e-learning platform by simply going to www.apunzile.com and pick from a wide range of programs that we have made available for you. We look forward to seeing you there. And please remember, no farmer